Vishnu, welcome to Exam Treasury. First of all, congrats for cracking JNU MA Politics, which is PISM. So, Vishnu, can you share a short detail about yourself regarding where are you from and from where did you do your graduation, and in which all universities did you apply for 2022?
Sure. First of all, very thank you, sir. So basically, I did my graduation from Shahid Bhagat Singh College, Delhi University, in political science honors, and even in during my 11th and 12th, I opted for humanities. So it was a plan since the start that I'll be going for political science honors only. For CUET PG, opted only for JNU because the plan was that I either crack JNU and do my master's in international relations from JNU, or I prepare for civil services. So I did not opt for any other institute apart from JNU.
Okay, so you were clear since the very beginning that you have to go only to JNU.
Yes,
So
sir.
in 22, you can see that there was a change in pattern till 2021. JNU had its own exam. From 22 onwards, it was not clear whether JNU is going to be part of CUT or it's not going to be part of CUT. But then it was decided a bit later. So what? So this created some amount of confusion. So how did you strategize yourself, knowing the fact that you're not sure whether JNU is going to conduct its exam or it's going to be a part of CUT because you opted only for JNU, right?
Yes, sir. So basically, even if you see the exams conducted by JNU in the previous years, the book lists were similar. So you have to read Andrew Haywood for global politics, and you have to read OP Gaba for all the political theories. So the foundation was sort of similar. So in that way, I was not very nervous. And the good thing which CUET did was it gave us a very precise list of syllabus. So we need to follow only that. So
Hmm.
what I did was, once I have read all the books, what I did was, I looked through I went through the syllabus, and then I saw which were the portions that I have missed. So there were, public policies which I have missed, and then I started going through IGNO notes, and there's a channel called Political Science Help. It has been a great help. I went through its videos. So I strategized in that manner because I feel there were not much of a difference there was, because even when JNU was conducting the exams and CUET conducting the exam, the syllabus was more or less similar. So for me personally, it was not more of a problem. I just kept on continuing with the flow. And yeah, during the last months, I stressed on solving papers, previous year papers, JNU, Delhi University, Hyderabad University. I solved some UGC NET papers as well. So yeah, it was not more of a difficulty for me personally. I did not feel much of a difficulty there.
Hmm. So, Vishnu, see, one thing that I would like to know more about was that till last year, JNU had its separate exam for international relation, for PISM and political science, right? So, strategy and the preparation level that is required for political science and the approach is different from what you require for PISM or international relation, precisely being the reason that the weightage of different topics in political science is not as same as in PISM.
Yes.
So, and then again, coming back to CUT, you saw that all the three papers were clubbed in a single paper. So, and so how different or how difficult it would have been rather in case of where JNU conducting a different examination for PISM and now switching to CUT, was it a bit you can say easier for you to prepare?
Yes, sir. Of course, the fact that with CUET we got a very comprehensive list of syllabus, and we need to follow only those topics, made it easier for us. So JNU did not come up with a syllabus. You need to use your own brain, and you need to follow Delhi University syllabus, and you need to see what type of questions they may be asking, and then JNU was asking questions from current affairs as well. So you need to have a very good knowledge about what was happening in and around the world, especially for international relations. With CUET, again, with all three courses clubbed together, it was a bit easier because you can stress on all three courses in a much more easier manner, and you can strategize in the same manner. You can divide your sections. You can concentrate on polity. You can concentrate on IR. You knew that they will be asking many questions for IR, so you need to focus only on the important aspects of IR, like the IR theories and stuff. So in a way, CUET made it way more easier for us than it was for JNUEE, because even if you see the previous year questions, JNU's previous year question papers were in a way more difficult than CUET's paper. So yeah,
Mhm.
it made a bit easier for us.
So, what do you think now? Getting into PISM or IRM is a much easier thing for those who have been preparing or those who did their graduation from political science, or it's, do you think, equally, challenging for each and everyone?
I mean, like I am prejudiced in favor of people who have done political science. So I'll say that yeah, it makes you a bit easier because let's say somebody who has done his or her graduation from a science background, then you have to read all the books from the beginning. And somebody like me who has been a political science student, I have been studying the same thing for the past 3 years. So in a
Mhm.
way, I am my foundation. I'm a bit ahead of a science student per se. But if you see the CUET paper, the object, especially given that they were asking us objective type questions, I believe at the end it depends on the last 4 to 5 months that you have been studying. So in a way, I believe maybe a political science student is a bit ahead, but not much ahead. Both the students have to put in their efforts. Now,
Mhm.
especially the last 4 5 months, they have to reread everything. Especially given that they are asking us qualitative questions, we rather than qualitative questions, we need to focus, more on memorizing things as well, and we need to remember that we are revising everything and we are remembering everything until the day we sit for the exam. So I believe more or less it is similar for both these students.
But then it's a bit of advantage for someone who did his or her graduation from political science. You see,
Political say yes.
I asked this question from you is when we were talking with some of the students who have cracked JNU this year, and in the list of around 35 or 36 students with whom I talked personally who have cracked JNU entrance examination for IR and PISM, you won't believe there were not more than two students who did not do his or her graduation from political science. So the kind of diversity, and there were two students who did his graduation from science background, and that too, you won't believe that they attempted last year also, they could not crack, so they tried again this year, so they gave at least 1 year. Whereas last year we saw that in a pool of, let's say, 25 students that we discussed with, there were more students, around 8 to 9 students were not from political science background. So I think this is going to be a challenge in terms of diversity. Even speaking my own example, when we went for JNU, I did my economics on MA economics. So there were four of my classmates from Ramjes from economics who went into PISM. So during my time, there was no course of IRA. Okay.
Hmm.
And there was PISM. Four of my classmates from economics honors went into JNUPISM. So I think this diversity is going to be reduced, and I think that most, we will find out that in a later stage, political science students are also entering IR and PISM. So do you agree or do you disagree?
Yeah, I completely agree with you, because if you see the pattern, they have been asking questions which are more theoretical rather than current affair questions, which say, JNU used to do. So probably why a science student, if appearing for JNUE, could have cleared the exams earlier, but now she has to understand all the concepts, and to understand something in just 3 4 months, rather than, let's say, a political science student who has been doing that for 3 years, it's a bit challenging. So probably in terms of that, I see we'll see more, if the current pattern continues, we'll see more of political science students clearing PISM or maybe IRM or maybe POLEM, rather than science or an economic student for that matter.
Hmm. And also in terms of changing the pattern of entrance examination, till last year we saw that in terms of PISM or IRM, There were 20 questions which were picked from the passage part. So that was something which was easier for non-political science background student to go through the passage and answer the questions. Okay, there were around 15 questions, 15 to 20 questions from Indian polity. Someone who has prepared for UPSC can answer those questions. There were questions from geography, one or two questions. 7, 8 questions were from Indian history. Okay, world history was something which was easier for everyone. So relatively 50 to 60% of the questions were easy, which could have been solved by non-political background students also. So now changing that pattern and again, getting into a space where you'll find your political science students. So do you think that the new space which have been created in PISM, or let's say for IRM, so that is space is going to be reduced in terms of diversity? Like
Yeah,
someone who is from political science, someone who is from economics, someone who did or has BTech. So the kind of discussion, the kind of space that a JNU provides is quite different from now, where you'll find a homogeneous group of mostly students coming from political science background.
right, right. Completely agree with you on this point, that changing the syllabus to this extent, where you are asking everything very theoretical and not some practical questions or current affair questions, would see students belonging to a particular group. So a political science student, the student who has done her graduation from political science, would probably be in an advantageous position if the current pattern follows. And probably I also do not know how long they can sustain this pattern, because to be honest, if you see even this year's question, there were various questions which made less conceptual. There were various less conceptual questions, rather more questions which you just need to mug up. So we have seen in news as well, the VCS said how we need to relook the current level of examination. And that's the best part about JNU, is like you don't give it a reduce it to a space which belongs to a particular lot of people. There can be different students from different schools coming together and having a discussion. So if JNU wants to maintain that sort of a reputation, I believe they have to relook the current level or the current pattern of examination. And I as a student myself who would be studying in JNU, I really want that to happen, because obviously you want different opinions, to be surrounded by different opinions, rather than just students coming from something which you have learned, right? You won't get to learn many new things which a science student or a economic students may provide. So yeah, in that aspect, I believe I completely agree with you that we need to have a relook to how we can sustain this pattern of examination.
Hmm. So now, Vishnu, coming back to your preparation. So when did you start your preparation and what were your strategies?
Yeah. So basically, I started my preparation after I completed my graduation. So it was around June or July, June, I guess. I started my preparation, and ever since March, I started reading, the main books, because I have read them in Delhi University. So it was a bit easier for me. So I started with Andrew Haywood for global politics. I went through the syllabus, and I saw that these were the important chapters. I read it, and I went for OP GABA to clear my political theories, because many a times they have just quotations, complete verbatim from OP GABA. So I knew that these two books are very important if you want to clear the exam. Then for history, I did not focus much on history, to be honest, because I knew that history portion they have ruled out. Even in JNU, there were not many questions from world history, but I just went through some videos and some important events that happened. And for polity, I read Lakshmikant. I read Lakshmikant very comprehensively, so that it may help me even with my UPSC journey. So I read it thrice or four times, and this time I think I got lucky, because questions were predominantly from political Indian polity. So there were questions which were directly, if you have read Lakshmikant, there were questions which you could clearly attempt. So yeah, these were the four books that I went through. And then I took help from Political Science Help. There's a YouTube channel. I believe everybody should look to it, because he provides you with all these beautiful 1500 2000 questions which you can solve before the exam. And there were some common questions as well. So yeah, a big thank you to him if he sees this video, because he helped me a lot with my preparation. And then I took help from one of JNU's seniors. She conducts classes as well. They have a YouTube channel called Exam What, and they take classes as well. So I took classes during the last 1 month, so that I revise in a way all my notes and prepare for some mock tests. So yeah, this was what I did throughout my preparation.
Hmm.
And this was it. And then for last 10 to 15 days, I went for revision and PYQs. So PYQs helped a lot because it gave me a glimpse of how questions may come. And revision helps a lot because there are so many things to remember that you have to revise. If you do not revise, you will tend to forget it. So 15 to 20 days, I believe everybody should commit to revision. So that worked for me personally. So yeah, this was the whole trajectory that I followed throughout my preparation.
So, what would be your suggestion for someone who is preparing for, let's say, IR or PISM and has not done his or her graduation in political science? Let's say someone who did his BTech or her, let's say, BSc mathematics. So, what would your suggestion be for that preparation?
Yeah, so I would definitely suggest to download two books, that is Andrew Haywood and OP Goba. Read them. Whenever you find some problems with the concepts or the words, Google it. Find it on YouTube. There are many videos on YouTube. You can see them and try to enhance your concept, because what I believe would be the thing is, from now on CUET, if JNU continues with CUET, they will be asking more conceptual questions. So you have to enhance your concept, you have to be conceptually clear, and then you will be able to solve any question whatsoever. So I believe if he or she is really planning to go to JNU, then you should start with these two books and start completely polishing your concepts, and go through the syllabus, and then start revising and making short notes so that you can revise again and again. And I believe with political science, it's not that tough. Let's say as with science, you have to understand concepts. You need a teacher, you need a guidance. But with political science, a simple reading helps. So
Hmm.
you can read these simple books, because both O.P. Gaba and Andrew Haywood, they're written in very plain and simple English. So anybody can understand that. So yeah, that's my suggestion. Read through the books, and then you can go for guides that are available in the market, which are precisely made for the exams. But reading the books are important for me personally.
So, Vishnu, you have explained everything in an excellent manner. And I hope that the students who are watching this video are going to follow whatever suggestions and advice that you have said. So, Vishnu, thanks for talking to us and sharing the insights that was helpful for your entrance exam preparation. And we wish you all the best for all your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.